Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Wednesday class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Bhur Bhavaswa, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Asto ma sadgamya, tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityurma amritam gamya. Om sahna vavtu sahna bhunaktu saviryam karvavahi. Tejasvi navadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om. Go into the temple, especially the Hindu temples or ashrams. What do? We take our shoes out. We wash our hands. And even before taking the shoes out, what do? We make sure that there's no dust on the shoes. We clean them by rubbing it against the foot mat. We make sure that we are wearing clean clothes, our hands are clean, face is clean. The same thing we do when we go into our own personal temple. This body is a temple. There are outer layers of the temple, then there are inner layers of the temple. That's why Rishi Patanjali, he gave us the Bahirang sadhana and the Antarang sadhana. So before we enter into the inner layers, we got to make sure that outer layers are clean. So Rishi Patanjali in Yoga Darshan, and the same thing we saw in Shiv Purana also, in Bhagavad Purana also. The cleansing of the outer layers. Because we all want to go into the dhyan state. We all want to have a contentment of this mind. We all want that eternal peace. We all want the darshan of Ishwar. So today I want to talk about these first two cleansing techniques on the path of yoga. You're all familiar with the terms Yam and the Niyam. Whether you want to look at it as first two steps on this ladder of evolvement, or whether you want to call it a cleansing techniques. It will help us. Let's look at that. Yam and the Niyams. Yams are 5 in number. These yams are the laws of life. Some people call it don'ts also. These are the rules meant not to limit you. They are suggestions meant to help you grow by purifying your mind and body. And you may find you already live by many of them. But still we got to increase the intensity of these. 5 yams. In fact, Rishi Patanjali called these Mahavrata, because ordinarily we do fasting, or we make some kind of a resolution, which is a vrata, to purify ourselves. But these are called Mahavrata. In Rishi Patanjali's language, he says, Jati Kal Jati desh kal same anavchinnaha sarvabhauma mahavratam. So these are great vows we take. And they are for everybody. Not just for any particular caste or a gender or a place. No matter where we are, if we want to evolve ourselves, no matter what the color of our skin or what the gender we have, we all need to follow these vows. So 5 yams, what are those? The first one is called ahimsa. Do no harm. It's about non-violence. You might say it's very easy. But non-violence means more than keeping yourself from beating up your obnoxious neighbor when he won't turn the stereo down or your parking spot. We can be violent in many ways, often without realizing it. Ahimsa involves non-violent actions, non-violent words, and non-violent thoughts. Non-violent actions involve the obvious, like don't physically hurt anyone. Non-violence isn't exactly about turning the other cheek. It's more like dodging the punch. For some, non-violent action means eating vegetarian food, because meat was once an animal, bird, or fish, and had to be killed, and killing is violence. Non-violent words are also important. So non-violent speech means refraining from words that slander, degrade, or hurt another person. But that doesn't mean lying. Non-violent thoughts are equally important. The trouble with your thoughts is that they pervade your entire being and are notoriously difficult to control. So non-violent thoughts mean refusing to think harm to anyone, even if you really think they deserve it. Let your negative thoughts go. Wish your enemies well, even in the privacy of your own brain. And your heart will automatically lighten. According to yoga, we are energy. And our thoughts can be sensed on an energetic level. So they are impossible to hide completely. People sense what you are thinking. So you are better off transforming your negative thoughts than trying to hide them. The beautiful thing about yoga is that your awareness becomes heightened and you perceive the thoughts of others more clearly. And one more thing about non-violence. Negative talk and thoughts about yourself. For example, I am ugly, I am lazy, I am too old, I cannot do anything. Those are all negative thoughts. By thinking that way or saying that way, we are doing violence to ourselves. And as a yoga student, that's no. So it counts. Don't do it. The second yam is called satya. Tell no lies. Satya pratishtayam kriya fal ashretvam. That's what Rishi Patanjali says in Yoga Sutras. So this yam involves truth. But what is truth? You and I have different truths. So isn't truth changeable? According to yoga philosophy, truthfulness is the result of our mind, speech, and actions being unified and harmonious. According to yoga philosophy, truth does no harm. This results in personal integrity and strength of character. Someone confides in you, and you promise that you won't tell his or her secret. You don't count your spouse or your best friend. And you even say words, I am not supposed to tell you this, but you receive an extra $10 bill with your grocery change at the bank and walk quickly away. You need the bucks more than big corporation. Or you occasionally bend the rules just a little on your income tax return. Or you tell an old relative you are not feeling well and can't possibly visit this week, even though you are actually feeling just fine. When we are following the satya, the truth, we can start it by becoming more aware of what we are doing. We need to ask ourselves, is this harmonious with all part of me? Does this do no harm? If you're not sure, maybe you should hold back, dig deeper for the real truth in your daily life. Personally, we are responsible for this, cleaning ourselves. Just like everyone else around you, you are so much more complex than your outside world or outwardly appearance, your job, the face you show to the world, or the opinions of others. What often seems to be the truth, what is obviously is the truth, what you know is the truth, is often not the truth at all. Truth is tricky, but it is out there, buried under the layers of misrepresentations, grudges, low self-esteem, unfortunate experiences, negative input, and discomforts. Striving for truth and bliss in your everyday life will help those layers fall away. Living truthfully takes some effort, but you can do it. There are absolute truths that one perceives in the stillness of one's being. We are all searching for truth, and it's within everyone's grasp. The third yam Rishi Patanjali talks about is asteya. No more stealing. And he says asteya pratishtayam sarvaratno upsthanam. So you think you don't steal just because you have never shoplifted a candy bar or anything else. That does not mean you don't steal. The concept is simple, even if the implications are not. If it's not yours, don't take it. Definitely that means no shoplifting, no taking credit for anything which does not belong to you. And don't interrupt people and steal their center of attention. That's all stealing. Don't steal your child's chance to do something on his own by doing it for him. How many parents, they just end up doing their child's projects? That's stealing. Your actions affect this world. Don't forget that. After that, Rishi Patanjali says brahmacharya. That's the fourth yam. So ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya. Brahmacharya in English, you can say it chastity or non-lust. Definitely it's about chastity, it's about virtue, and it could be a sexual abstinence for certain people. But abstinence or control of all the senses, that's brahmacharya. Many great yogis, they are householders, which means they are married with the children, but still they observe brahmacharya. Being virtuous means holding the opposite sex in high esteem. Seeing the Brahma in your partner also. That's brahmacharya also. True respect for someone you love does not preclude sex, but it helps sex become a spiritual act as well as a physical act. You are not just joining with your lover physically, you are joining with him or her on a much deeper level. You will add his or her life lessons to your own. Virtuous sex is the essence of two people becoming one. That's why Rishi Patanjali said, brahmacharya pratishtayam virya labha. If you don't have someone when you truly love and respect, sure, abstinence from sex may help clear your mind. Because clearing and purifying the body clears and purifies the mind. Again, let me emphasize the purpose of Yams and Niyams is purification. Meaningless physical contact can be confusing and distracting. Avoiding this kind of behavior can help you be more in tune to those out there who could be potential life partners. Virtuous thoughts are thoughts filled with love and respect, not lust or selfishness. When sex keeps you from becoming your best self or keeps your partner from doing the same, it's not virtuous sex. But when you and your partner move further towards self-actualization because of the purity of your love, you are having that connection the way it was meant to be. And this may even mean not having that physical contact at all. Ask yourself, do I understand the difference between love and lust? Are my thoughts about my partner more about love than lust? Do I feel better, able to fulfill my potential when with my partner? Am I recognizing and respecting the dreams of my partner? But to ask those questions. Brahmacharya is a lot more than just controlling one part of your body. So brahmacharya with the body also, with the words also, with the thoughts also. Then the fifth yama is called aparigraha. Do not be greedy. It isn't easy to abstain from greed in this materialistic world. With the television ads, billboards, or our own computers and the phones, they are continually telling us what we want and what we must have. It's hard not to believe some of it. But are you familiar with the feeling of buying something you have always wanted and then feeling strangely dissatisfied? As if the fun was in the wanting, not in actually possessing. That is greed's way of emptiness. Non-greed means living simply, possessing only what is necessary, and recognizing that possessions are merely tools to use in life. Do not be possessed by the possessions. Accumulation, whether material things or unnecessary thoughts, tie you down to the world. Simplify your life as you simplify your thoughts. Greed can also surface in less obvious ways. Talking too much, interrupting others, and dominating conversations, while barely showing a flicker of interest in the participation of others, are all ways greed creeps into our lives through language. So physical greed, verbal greed. And then think before you speak and consider how your words will sound and what effect they will have. Practice listening and being truly present in a conversation, absorbing everything other people are saying. Because when we are speaking, we are telling others what we know. But when we are listening, we will heighten our own knowledge by paying attention. Thoughts can also be a source of greed. How come the neighbors have a better house? Fancy 2-level deck? Why did your best friend got a bigger diamond than you do? Envy and jealousy clutter the mind and can become obsessions. How much better it is to turn those feelings around and feel truly happy for the person who has something you don't have. In fact, once you start to be happy for someone else, simply because of their joy, you may become so fulfilled by your happiness that you lose your desire for whatever they have. How much simpler your life becomes when you can be happy due to something beyond your own needs. Think about it. So these are the 5 yams. Ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. The more and more we bring this into our life, the more and more purification we'll feel. Now let me go through the niyams also. The rules for living. Niyams. Niyams are Patanjali's observances. What to do as opposed to what not to do. Okay. So the first niyam cleanses the way for all the others. So the first niyam is be pure, saucha. In Sanskrit, it's called saucha. Shochat swa anga jugupsaha parer samsarga. Purity is achieved through the practice of the 5 previous yams. So the yams and the niyams work hand in hand. You cannot be pure unless you are following the the yama where it says ahimsa. They are all interrelated deeply. The abstentions clear away negative physical and mental states of being, leading you straight to purity. Purity can apply to various aspects of your life. Cleanliness is very important to yoga. That's why early in the morning when we get up, we even clean our nose, we clean our esophagus, we clean our stomach, we clean our eyes, we clean our ears also. So cleanliness is very important to yoga, keeping yourself clean. Sure, most of you do by bathing, dressing clean clothes, keeping the surroundings clean. They're all part of pure actions. But a yoga abhyasi does more than that. What you eat is also important. Fresh, natural, and healthy foods are best. Foods obtained through non-violent means are ideal because they can be eaten with the full, unadulterated joy. This is why yogis traditionally practiced a vegetarian diet. Respect each meal for the life given to sustain another. Rishi Patanjali gave 2 verses for purity. He said, Sattva Shuddhi Somanasya Ekagra Indriye Je Atma Darshan Yoge Tavane. He said, if you keep yourself so pure, you'll have an Atam Darshan, realization of yourself. That's how important the cleanliness is. That's why in yoga, we clean our body with the water. We clean our body with the prans also. We recognize the fire inside us. We do the Agni Sar also. We use all kinds of techniques so that there's more and more purity. Because the goal is a self-realization. We want to know who we are. We want to make sure that all the layers of our personality, we keep on cleaning so that we can recognize who we are. Then the next niyam is santosha. Be content. Just saying the word santosha invokes a feeling of calmness. Practicing contentment means finding happiness with what you have and with who you are. Of course, you can always work toward improvement, but that doesn't mean you can't be content while you are improving yourself. Contentment helps you see that you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. It doesn't mean you'll be happy when you can finally stand on your head or get that promotion you always wanted or find a soulmate. It means happiness in this moment as you are. Santoshad Anuttam Sukhlava. So contentment means learning to re-evaluate obstacles as opportunities. Limitations are learning experiences. You will say easier said than done. We know that. But if you feel unhappy with your life, you may find it especially difficult to cultivate contented thoughts. So practicing contentment involves taking full responsibility for your life and the situations you are in. Find the positive in life's lessons and choose to grow from them. You are in charge of your own destiny, but that also means not beating yourself up for the mess you are in right now. Thank yourself for it. Know that every situation or challenge presented is a doorway to greater growth. As they say that if the door closes, sometimes the bigger windows are opened. The third niyam is called tapa. Tapa. Sometimes we translate it as austerity, but today I am going to use the word be disciplined. Tapa. For all the yams and the niyams to be truly effective, you will need a little self-discipline. A yoga abhyasi lives a life of anushasan, disciplined life. You might not have this as your strong point. If self-discipline were easy, what would be the point? It would hardly be a tapa. So that means it doesn't come automatically. You got to definitely have a resolution in your mind that I am going to live a life like that. Anyone who exercises daily is showing self-discipline. Dedicating specific time each day to your yoga practice is self-discipline. And remember, discipline is not deprivation. It's a self-care. Learning how to stick to something even when you don't feel like it will build your strength and wisdom. You probably manage this self-discipline to brush your teeth every day. Just extend that discipline in other areas like yogic cleansings, yogic exercise, eating at the right time, going to bed at the right time, getting up at the right time, doing the prayers twice a day, meditation, seva. All of that is tapa. And then the disciplined words also should be spoken. That means to speak gently and sincerely, not angrily or hurtfully. Wounds given by the words pierce more than the weapons. Act rather than react, because you cannot control the actions of others. That is a discipline too. Self-disciplined thoughts replace the negative with the positive, resentment with forgiveness, violence with peace, and unhappiness with joy. That's what tapa gives us. That's why another meaning of tapa is a shine. Your personality shines if you live like a tapasvi. The fourth niyam is called svadhyaya. Be studious. Svadhyaya doesn't just mean you should read a lot of books. It means studying yourself through introspection also. Do you act according to your beliefs? Do you say what you mean? Are you walking your talk? How are you sitting, standing, or walking? Do you feel graceful or stilted? Do you look the way you feel? If not, why not? Introspect. Studious words and thoughts involve the study of various sacred texts, whichever are relevant to you, whichever your guru tells you to read, because you are supposed to feel inspired after reading those. Because all those great scriptures, they are teaching you. Through self-study, you can see which thoughts, which actions, which words and experiences actually make you happy and which block your happiness. Dedicated, non-violent introspection will fill your life with clarity. And that's why Rishi Patanjali said, Svadhyaya or Svadhyayat Ishta Devata Samparyoga. So that means you will have a communion with your Ishta Devata if you're doing this Svadhyaya. In other words, your Ishta Devata will come and visit you. That is the power of Svadhyaya. And the fifth niyam is Ishvarapranidhana. Be devoted. This is the last niyam which involves devotion. Focus on the divine. Whatever that means to you. How it is in you and part of you and around you. Ishvarapranidhana is an observance that works beautifully with any religion. Whether you are devoted to Lord Krishna or Lord Ram or any goddess, Buddha, or even the force which is creating this universe and sustaining this universe. So this niyam reminds you to relinquish ego. That is the purpose of this. Otherwise, because of our own ego, we think we are the one who are holding this universe. But when you believe something higher than you, then your ego sublimates. And this really brings your attention towards your highest goal. You are that little speck of that Ishwar, and you want to become one with that Ishwar. That is our highest goal. With Ishvarapranidhana, the positive energy will flow from the divine into all areas of your life. All areas, you will see that God is working through you, speaking through you. All the actions are being done through God, by God and through you. Ishvarapranidhana. Again, Rishi Patanjali said, Samadhi Siddhir Ishvarapranidhanat. So when we learn how to totally surrender our ego to Ishvara, you attain Samadhi. So you can see the effect of the Yam and the Niyams, how you are purifying yourself by observing some of the actions we are not supposed to do. We are not supposed to hurt anybody. We are not supposed to lie, cheat, steal. We should not have this overpowering ego. So some don'ts and some do's. Keep yourself clean. Follow the truthful life. Feel the oneness. Study. Keep on enlarging your horizon. So these are just the first two steps to clean ourselves, to enter into the inner realms. Because after that, sure, there's other areas also we need to work on in the Bahiranga sadhana, but ultimately dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Without following this, if we are just saying that we are meditating, that's just only a sitting exercise. You are just only sitting. Sure, your mind is getting a little restful. Body is getting the benefit of it, but that's all. If you want to really merge and become one with this higher power, we got to follow these rules properly. Anything we do in life, there are rules. There are rules to even drive the car. When we buy some equipment, there are thick booklet about the rules, do's and don'ts. These are the rules to live a life where we can attain our highest. So let's stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Viseshyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.